Hello chaps, let me move my mic a bit nearer. How's it going? I've got a 30-minute unrated rapid game here. And my opponent is rated 972, so this is going to be really interesting for anybody wanting to break through 1,000. We are going to be looking for mistakes. So we have the French defense, e4, e6. My opponent's now moved his knight out. So he's foregone the opportunity to grab the center, which is very, very normal. I mean, bottom line, if you're sub 1,000, if your opponent gives you the opportunity to get pawns on d4 and e4, do it. Just do it. Don't even think, do it. So the question now is, does it make sense for black to play d5 and contest the center? If he takes, I could take back the pawn. That's kind of me creating a French exchange. I probably don't want to do that at this point in time. I could play c5. If I play knight g6, sorry, knight to f6, it's just walking into e5. And then I'll have to move my knight again, and he can't go there, right? So that doesn't make any sense at all. So I'm just going to play this. The e6, b6. If you do, this is something I heard the other day, and I'm not quite sure about it, but let me run this idea by you. That if you start just kind of making these little pawn pyramids, somebody said don't move like your d pawn and your b pawn one square because you create a whole load of weaknesses on a particular color complex, right? So if I'd played d6 instead of e6 here, then I'd have holes all through my light squares. But this way is different because I'm controlling that square and controlling that square and controlling that square and controlling that square. Now, this is already questionable, I would say, from white, because bottom line, he's moved that pawn a second time. And he simply didn't have to do it, right? In the opening, your main job is to first get your minor pieces out into the board. Get your king castled, get your queen off the back rank, connect your rooks, right? That's development. This is not developing. Yes, he's moved a pawn from a square where it's undefended to a square where it is defended, but it wasn't under attack. Now, apologies for my sniffles. Was he afraid of bishop b7 attacking the pawn? Maybe, but much better. He's got more ways of protecting the pawn, right? Knight c3 would have protected the pawn from the bishop, and it develops a piece. This just overextends. So I could even play f6 here. Now, never play f6, according to Grandmaster Ben Feingold. But I'm thinking, let's develop, right? Let's follow my own advice, develop pieces. I've now moved 2 pawns. And here's the other thing, the other reason why you don't move the same coloured pawns, right? I've moved a light square, and I've moved one from a dark square. That means the light squared one allows my light squared bishop to emerge, and moving a pawn from a dark square allows my dark squared bishop to emerge. Woo! So, off he goes. I'm now looking at this knight already. Okay. Where's my opponent from Greece by the look of it? Yeah. Explosion chess. Excellent. Okay. All right. So he's brought his bishop out. So on the plus side, he's now ready to castle. The bishop is looking at this light squared pawn cluster here. So it's not fantastic, but it's a decent square. I could even do the same thing, and I could bring out my dark square bishop and target g1, which makes sense, right? I can't put my knight here now because of this e5 push. My knight doesn't have f6. So I might want to put my knight here on e7. But if I do that, I would be blocking my bishop. So let's move the bishop out first, and then I've got ideas about putting my knight here, and then I can castle kingside. Castling queenside is also a perfectly good option as well. So I'm feeling all fine at this point in time. And I've used 3.5 minutes, which is about right. It's a 30-minute game. Okay, now he's gone ahead and castled, which is not a bad thing. On the downside, he's put his king on G1. So it's right in line with my bishop, and that means that this guy here is in an absolute pin. Now, one of the things we always need to be doing in chess is to assess. Somebody said in the comments, actually, would a SWOT analysis approach be useful in chess? Absolutely, 100%. And if you're not familiar with SWOT analysis, it's a term that they use in business. And SWOT, S-W-O-T, stands for strengths and weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Okay, and it absolutely 100% applies beautifully to chess. So you need to think about, are there any immediate opportunities? Are there any immediate threats? So, which is, offense and defensive opportunities or issues. In the absence of immediate opportunities or immediate threats, you should resort to improvement, which in the opening means developing your pieces, and in the middle game tends to be improving your pieces, putting them on better squares and trying to gain control over the board incrementally. So one of the things that I need to be looking at is, for example, could this knight come in and cause mischief? Right now, no, because he can't move here, because the d pawn is still there, therefore that square is not defended by the bishop, so I could just grab him. I'll just have him. So some people at this point might just instinctively play a move like h6. No need to play a move like h6, because the knight's not going to come here, right? Like my opponent, when he pushed e5, he was running away from shadows. It wasn't a real threat. So what should we do? I want to develop my knights. So this knight might come here, or it could come here. If it comes here, bishop takes, that's all right. I'm going to move this knight here. The question is, am I going to do it now, or should I play, for example, knight e7 now, or knight h6? Is knight h6 an idea? Let's think about this. So we've got this as a thought. Could come there. He's not going to go there. If here, I have the option of going there as well, but I also have the option of going straight into g4. So I kind of like that. Then I need to think, well, if I do this and then he pushes d4, or d3 or d4, what's going to happen? Do I need to worry about the d4 pawn? That's another thought, right? But we deal with that when it happens. I know actually that my bishop can simply retreat. It's probably actually a very good move for my opponent. Or if I play my knight out to here and he pushes that, I've got 2 attackers, 2 defenders, doesn't work. We did a whole session on this on Thursday with the Chess Bootcamp Live breakthrough group. That's the 750 to 1000 group. And the key thing here is, if my knight was here, see, sometimes equal numbers of attackers and defenders can work for the attacking side, and sometimes it can be worse for the attacking side, and it all comes down to the value of the pieces. So here, it's actually like a sequence of trades. If it was pawn takes pawn, and then white recaptures, that's fine. But knight takes pawn, okay, doesn't work. Knight recaptures, bishop takes, queen takes, and I'm down a whole piece. Okay, so, but if my knight comes here, I've got the option of coming there. I like that. I'm going to do that one. I'm going to do that move. My opponent's sitting there thinking, I'm 700 points lower rated than this guy, and he's taking all day to make his moves. I am now ahead in material development. White has 2 pieces out in the board, but he has castled, which is worth 2 development points. So in actual fact, we're kind of quits. He's also only moved 1 pawn, and that's why he's up. So he's up 4-3 right now, and it's him to move. But he's got to move either the b pawn or the d pawn in order for this guy to get out. So I'm not worried about this. You see, another way to look at it is, before you consider a move like, well, when you consider a move like h6, right, to stop the knight coming here, the other thing is to say to yourself, well, let's turn it around. If the knight comes there, and then I push h6, happy days, I win a tempo. Off goes the knight, you know, bugger off. Probably to there and attack my bishop, but now I'm starting to think maybe the bishop isn't that clever on that square. But hey-ho. Might think about castling. Might think about bringing my knight out. See, I've got this knight here now, and this is an idea in the French defence quite often, to bring both knights out and both of them attack e5. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that idea right now. Also, when this knight moves as well, my bishop will have another square to go to, which is fine. Can't go there currently. In fact, did I blunder with that move, falling into d4? Because now I can't retreat here. Right? If d4, I can only go there, he goes there, I come back, he goes here. My bishop is stuck and trapped. Good. Good, well done. You've noticed. Right. So has he figured all of this out? Very well played if he has. Because I didn't. I really didn't think what the consequences were of that knight move before I did it. Okay, now how can I make the best of this situation? Is there a way, for example, I'm looking, could I drop back there? And if he takes, can I take with development? Well, no, not really. Come back here, he takes, I can take with a pawn. That's one thing. Capturing towards the centre, gaining an extra central pawn. He's down a central pawn. Alternatively, this, and then maybe knight takes. I like this one. I'm going to do this straight away. I don't want to prompt him to push the pawns up on this side of the board. There's no need for that. There's nothing to be gained from that. Okay, but really, really well done for explosion chess here. He saw my mistake. Notice this bishop is hanging. And he figured it out, so excellent stuff. Good job it's unrated game, eh? Right. Now what we need to do is we need to reassess. A lot has changed with that, the loss of that dark squared bishop. Right. I've got one pawn in compensation. I've also got a central pawn majority in compensation, which is no bad thing. Okay, he's brought his knight out. This pawn's undefended. He might have ideas about coming in here and having a bash at my pawn. So I'm thinking, I'm going to pray. It's not time to pray just yet. I'm going to play a prophylactic move. Could do this, but it's kind of a non-threat, really. The bishop's just going to have to retreat somewhere. So stopping the knight coming here, I'm stopping the bishop coming here. Both of which could be annoying. And actually, I'm not minding my pawn structure too much. I may play b5 at some point, and I could even stick my queen on here, doing the job that my deceased bishop was doing, of pinning the f2 pawn and just lining up with the king, and just generally being threatening and making faces. At some point, I'll want to come after this pawn. This one is not about to make forward progress anytime soon. He does want to get his bishop out, but where's it going to go? It can't go there. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 squares the bishop could go to. And what I'm probably going to want to do, okay, that's fine, is to start putting my pawns on dark squares. Putting pawns on dark squares makes life harder for dark squared bishops, and I haven't got a dark squared bishop. And it doesn't do anything against light squared bishops. They can just carry on about their day. So it's tempting here to like push e5, but he's got 1, 2, 3 attackers, and I've only got one defender on there, so I'm not going to do that right now. I think it's time to castle my king. Don't want to lose on time. And well done if you spotted the bishop. Oh, I'm getting outplayed. Right, I can't move the knight because it hangs the rook. Ha ha ha. Dear oh me. Dear oh dear. I've now lost my pawn advantage. What did I fail to do? I failed to see what did my opponent do and to state all the things that had changed on the effing board. I could have simply pushed d5 here, harassed his bishop, sent it backwards, and solidified some control over the centre, and I just blundered a bloody pawn. Like a great big pillock. Alright, well, I'll just carry on with development, I guess. If I do this and he pushes a pawn... Oh, I don't know, really. I'm going to play rook e8, actually. Get my rook on the semi-open file. Might support this pawn at some point. So, if you've just tuned in to 1653 player getting his arse kicked and handed back to him by somebody rated 972, you're in the wrong place to learn anything about chess. I'm a bishop down, so we're in challenge mode now. I did get a pawn for my bishop, and I've just lost it again. It's your fault because you're putting me off because I'm talking to you instead of concentrating. I think the knight's going to want to come here. It hampers this bishop. So I have a light square bishop. He has a light square bishop. Ah, he's copied me. He's copied me. My knight has a couple of squares. Doesn't really achieve much. I'll push that. If this knight comes out, does it have continuation? Am I worried about that? I'll just go here. No. Not liking that. Everything's a big bugger's muddle right now. I could play this move, which is what I was thinking about anyway. Yeah. I'm a little bit cramped. You see, everything is on the first 3 ranks. My opponent's got a bishop right in my face that I don't like. And he has lots of options. Even if the queen abandons the defense of this knight, I would still be tempted to remove it and mess up his pawns and expose his king. Because then I've got like queen check ideas. Might have some attacking ideas. But to his credit, my opponent is playing very well. And it just goes to show, it doesn't matter who you're playing, they can screw up. They really can. Everybody screws up. The better you are at chess, the less often you screw up, and you screw up in more minor ways more of the time, rather than major screw-ups. But everyone screws up. Such is life. Now, you see what I just said? If this queen ever abandons the defense of the knight, I might have the knight. And what he's just done with that move is he's broken the queen's defense of the knight. He's interposed his own piece. So now I've got ideas of this. It means I'm going down 2-0 in bishops. He's thinking about rerouting his knight round there, eh? Yeah, do I? Do I? Or do I want to bring this knight out? No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Let's throw caution to the wind. I'm down in material, and in general, it doesn't make sense. But this is a tactical opportunity that I just didn't feel I could pass up. So, right, here's the thing. If I play queen here now, it's very tempting to jump at the check and just kind of, oh, look, a check. Fantastic. Right? The king moves, and then that's the end of my attack. If I move the knight here first, we'll see if he notices. Looks like I'm attacking this pawn. I'm not. What I'm doing is I'm preparing queen g5 check, and then wherever he goes, he gets mated. That's the difference. Don't grab at moves. Got to think about move order as well. So this is actually an unstoppable sequence. If I get to play this. So this is a good move. It's defended by the knight. It covers that square and it saves the pawn in the process. See, I mean, if I get to take the pawn, then I get the fork here. But he's got two threats going on right now. This is one with a fork. Oh! Nice move. Okay, how about this then? He's got bishop takes. Curse you, explosion chess. This. Bishop takes. End of attack. Queen here renews that threat. Queen here, bishop here. Queen here. I feel like I want to get my queen out. I also feel like I want to get this knight out into the board. This bishop's a right pain. Okay, let's calm down. Everyone chill. If I put my queen there, the knight's pinned. What does that change? His queen has to defend this pawn and prevent the fork. This bishop really is good. I always think of Benny Watts in The Queen's Gambit. That right there is a bone in the throat, he says. That's what it feels like. It's like, can't do anything. Bishop's in my way. I want to bring my knight around, but maybe he'll stop it off. But, you know, maybe that's not such a bad thing either. See, I should fancy my chances in an endgame, even if I'm a bit down material. Okay, so c3. So he's building his pawn chain. He's defending this pawn, which frees up the queen from that job. Much better to defend something with a pawn than with a piece, particularly the higher value pieces. And yes, in general, everything should be defended where possible. So back to this idea. Is he doing this because he wants to move his queen somewhere? Now, if I come here, he's got to do something about the pawn problem. I'm going to play this now. I think it's time. I feel it's time. Got a picture of you beside me. Got your lipstick mark still on my coffee cup. If bishop here, might be tempted to swap it off. And if pawn takes, got queen over here. This is a real weakness for white. And if I'm going to have a chance of winning the game, that is something that I really need to be paying close attention to. The queen is stuck with the defense of this pawn. This bishop has very little scope right now. This bishop's just a giant pain in the arse. It is also undefended. Now, my queen couldn't attack the bishop, obviously, on the dark squares, but my queen could attack the bishop say like that. But if I do that, he's got bishop takes. If I can move this pawn, I don't know, might move my queen here at some point. I don't know. His pawn's undefended. Might push b5 at some point, just for a laugh. Honestly, playing a 30-minute game and playing this badly is ridiculous. I mean, that is a free pawn. Again, going back to this idea of exchanges, right? I've got 2 attackers, 1 defender. Therefore, it generally makes sense. Plus, defender number 1 is a queen. So this would be I win pawn, and then if queen takes knight, queen takes queen, just simply doesn't work out. Yeah, we had some absolute stinkers of puzzles. So just to do with counting attackers and defenders, and counting exchanges and calculating exchanges. Really, really fascinating stuff. I learned some stuff from running that session. Queen here, knight here. This knight's pinned. Can't take. Knight attacks the bishop. Knight isn't really attacking the knight, because if I take, then f takes, and he's now repaired his pawns. So that should just be doing him a massive favour. Might also play rook c8 at some point. This bishop's also undefended. Both bishops are undefended. He's having a jolly good think now, isn't he? What you doing now, pal? If I play queen here, he's got that, which is just annoying. Now, I don't really want to prompt his bishop to move off its bad square, where it's undefended right now. I want him to stay there. If he comes here, it's just become a better piece. So, why do it? So, for example, b5 might be a temptation, but then bishop comes here and suddenly he's looking at h7 and life's just got worse for me. Don't do it. So his immediate problem is this. It's attacked twice. He could defend it with the bishop there. He could defend it with a rook here. That's pretty much it. Or he could push it forward, where it's defended by the bishop. Actually, that's not a bad move, because then he might have that. I don't know. Just thinking about this idea now. Rook. If I get the a pawn out of the way, could I lift my rook up here? That could be funky. Could be super funky. Funky. So his last move he played in 41 seconds. This one seems to have been about 4 minutes already. I hope he's not abandoned on me. Not often you get a chance to play an unrated game up against somebody 700 points higher. So it's a good opportunity. Let's see, he's still there. So let's just think about this idea with a discovered attack on the bishop. Might as well use my time, eh? And bishop takes, pawn takes, there takes, rook takes, queen takes, rook. So I'm up a pawn and down. I'm down a pawn, up a bishop. Knight takes. Hang on. Pawn there, bishop takes. Knight takes bishop. I'm down a pawn. Pawn takes knight. Equal. Rook takes. rook takes, queen takes. It's actually equal. And I end up with a queen on here. Nothing gained that I can see from that. Looks like he's disappeared. Oh, I hope not. Don't go quiet on me. Don't know how to say, are you still there in Greek? That's the problem. I know about 5 Greek words. 45 if you include food. I like food. So you might have buggered off. How long does it take? There's the length of time without a move. You do win by abandonment, but it's like a portion of the total game time. I don't know what that would be for a 30-minute game. I like the thing they do on Lee chess, where if your opponent goes quiet for a certain length of time, it says it offers you the opportunity to claim victory through abandonment or to wait. Question mark, come on. Just think about the bragging rights. You can push ahead and beat somebody 700 points higher rated. It'll make your day, mate. Because really, there are only a couple of moves. Bishop there to defend the pawn. Rook here to defend the pawn. Or push the pawn. Whew! Finally. Good. Okay. Now time is on our side. So, pawn here, he takes. What about this idea now? This idea now, and if his rook should ever move, I've got ideas of, I haven't got queen there. Bugger it. Okay, I'm simply going to play this. You turn the tables back. 7 minutes 51 it took him that. Right, at that rate, bro, you've only got 2 moves left in the game. I'm also like keeping little moves in my pocket because I know, for example, that isn't a mistake. Or I believe it isn't a mistake. Stockfish generally finds mistakes all over the place. Okay, 2 attackers, 2 defenders. That means that these 2 pieces are kind of tied. I think that pawn f4 would have been maybe preferable there. Okay, so just hung another pawn. Bloody hellfire. So I managed to beat somebody 1600 rated or something this morning, and now I'm managing to lose to somebody rated 972. There you go. Maybe 30-minute game isn't my strong suit. However, the clock is ticking and my opponent has no increment. So I'm starting to think now I might be able to use the clock as a weapon in this game as well. That's a nice square. Comes with a fork. And the bishop can't defend the rook because it can only go there. And queen takes. If he plays this, that wouldn't be a bad move. I mean, look, he's +4 in material right now. I've captured a knight and a pawn. He's captured 2 bishops and 2 pawns. And wow, we have movement. All right. What's going on there? Well, obviously he's attacking my queen. Obviously he's attacking my queen. So Daniel Naroditsky there. He says everything twice. Okay, now I can't take this with check because he's got 2 defenders, right? I've got that, which is very likely the best move. It's a forcing move. Hang on. Now he's got to put his knight back then. He's got to put his knight back because, or drop his bishop back, because he can't just move the king. If he moves in the corner, he's dead. It's mate in 1. If he moves king here, I've got check, and he's got 2 moves. At least I win a pawn. At the very least. Notice I'm also attacking this bishop. Okay, so what he's done here is this is what's known as a bad counter-attack. I moved here and I'm attacking his bishop. He moved here to attack my queen. He's thinking I will up the danger levels, as Levy would say. However, he failed to consider that my queen can then move with check. And now he's forced to get out of check, and he's done it one way, but now he drops his bishop. And now he's only 1 pawn in front. And this is the difference so often with these tactics. Now I have knight here, attacking knight, rook, and bishop. And this knight here is pinned, so he can't take. And that is a major threat. That is a big, hairy-assed threat. He does have bishop there defending the rook. So if I play knight here, bishop there, I'll just take the rook. He should probably recapture the pawn anyway. Otherwise, the rook can't defend the bishop because it can't get to that square, and that square's blocked, right? The bishop can defend the rook here, but let's see. That's an option. It's definitely a threat. Also note, now, very, very important, whenever a bishop disappears from the board, now my opponent has only a dark squared bishop. Okay, so we see what's going on there. I see your mind. Still got 2 defenders on there, it's worth noting. Could play rook here, with ideas of lifting it across, or I could just drop back. There's a phrase you don't often hear on chess videos. No, leave them the cows. Okay, I'm just going to drop back. It's quite an interesting game, no? I'm feeling happier. So what should he have done here? This was a bad mistake, because I can move with check, completely forcing move, and then it's not. You've got to know that on the next turn you can save your attack piece. So big old blunder here. He should simply have retreated. Okay, so what have we got? We've got queen here now. How do we feel about this? Okay, my dogs are now shouting at cows, so I do apologise. All right, now I have this move. I can give up the pawn. I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw it straight back in my opponent, put the ball back in his court, and force him to do something. If he takes the pawn now, he loses a rook. Or, in fact, even taking the bishop outright might be better for me than taking a rook, losing a knight, and repairing my opponent's pawn structure. Because look at that. He's got 6 in a row there. Yeah? So don't always go for the highest value piece. Because this, yeah, I gain 5, then I lose 3 when the pawn takes, and this is worth a pawn. Right? So I'm +1 there, really. Now, here, simply +3. Really want to leave these buggered pawns. If you're sitting comfortably, we'll begin. This is the story of the buggered pawns. The English language has some great words. See, also, if queen takes here, I've even got... I can move one of my rooks to b8, forcing the queen away again, and then winning this pawn. Could be fun. But Explosion Chess is now having to think very hard. So one thing to take away from this game, if you are at the beginner level to kind of breakthrough level, the order of moves is important. Seeing a good move, right? The quality of the move, the value of a move is highly time sensitive. Sometimes you can have a move that would be crap if you play it immediately, but fantastic if you play it on your next turn. Or you can look at a sequence and go, there, but actually, there is fabulous, you know? So he's having a right good think now. Another problem with this is this blunder. Because, I mean, it is a blunder. He's simply losing a whole piece. That can only be a blunder. He's +4 at this point in time. When you're +4, when you're up that much material, batten down the hatches. Retreat the damn bishop. Okay? Get the king to as much safety as you can. Just get all your stuff. This rook wants to come to here, really, really badly. So get king over to here, right? Bishop here. This rook over there. Line up with your opponent's king. And just wait out the storm. That's what you need. Don't get fancy. Great kid, don't get cocky. This was just bad. And now here we are. And his clock's ticking down. He's on 4 minutes 23. I'm on 13 minutes now. And the... yeah, it's starting to bite now, isn't it? So what? I don't know. He's in a bit of trouble here. I think I would retreat the bishop probably. Also, if knight takes bishop, I'm attacking the queen. So it comes with yet another tempo. I'll probably just move back there and have another threat on the knight and rook as well, you know. So I take this, queen moves out the way, I come back, I'm still attacking these two. What? Okay, he saved the bishop. I take rook. Don't even have to think twice. Don't think twice, it's alright. Okay, now I'm going to bring my knight around here. I'm not worried about this pawn, the pawns are gone. It's attacked twice, right? Wasn't even defended once. Forget about it. Forget about it. I could bring my knight to here. For example, if queen takes, then I have a fork on queen, bishop, and this pawn here as well. And if I can eliminate this pawn, that makes a big difference. Because look, you see right now he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all on adjacent files. If I can eliminate this guy, he's down to 4 and 2 singletons. Singleton's super hard to defend. Well, ain't no use in turning on your light, babe. The light I've never known. But with 2 minutes 35 now. Okay. Decent move. Decent move. He's taken both of these two squares away from my knight, both of which were threats. Excellent. Okay. This pawn's now... well, this pawn is undefended. If I come here and attack the bishop, he's likely to take the pawn. Then I can move my rook back to b8 and pin the bishop. And that's going to make life hard. It means that the bishop and the queen are both kind of pinned. Because when you've got the piece behind that's defending that, it's like an X-ray pin, a double pin tactic. It's a thing. I don't know if it has a name, but it's a thing. So if bishop takes here, rook b8, and now if the bishop goes anywhere, the queen falls. The queen has to keep defending the bishop as well. So this is just a complication. And when you're... Oh, good move. Good move. Oh! Ow. I was wrong. Completely wrong. Ignore everything that I ever say. Right? If I take that, it's checkmate. Fantastic move. Well done. Oh, I love it. Look at what he's finding with 2 minutes on the clock. Okay. Now I'm gonna play Oh no, I'm not. Oh no, I'm not. Because that would drop this pawn. Is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Do we mind that? Can I play f5? I'm gonna play f5. See, f6 would have left this pawn undefended because the pawn's no longer defending. f5, now the queen's defending. Well, the queen was defending anyway, right? But f6 would have removed both defenders from this pawn, which wouldn't have been very clever, would it, precious? Now, no, I can't play rook there because it drops the knight. 1 minute 35. 4, 3, 2. If pawn takes, I have pawn takes. I even have knight takes, putting super duper pressure on him. Pins, pins, pins. Guns, guns, guns. Think that's Clarence Bodicker in RoboCop. Believe. Or is it Fifth Element? Answers on a postcard, please. Might be Fifth Element. Okay, right, he's missed something, which is this. Attacking the pinned piece. It's another tactic. We did this last week in Chess Bootcamp Live. If you want to master your tactics, join Chess Bootcamp Live. Go to chessbootcamp.club. It's $49 a month. We've got 4 sessions every week at different levels. Now, with the Breakthrough group, 750 to 1000, we're going through Tactics 101. Week 1 was forks. And that was like nearly an hour and a half of just the whole group just going puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. All from real games as well. Not made up stuff. Not designed puzzles. Week 2, we did pins. And now he's down to 15 seconds, so he's lost. And then the other day, it was all about, now I have this with check, it was all about counting attackers and defenders, which is more complicated than we would think. I'm going to take with, oh, he's checked me. Damn. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tactics. It's all tactics, guys. And he's going to lose. On time. Okay. But super game, my friend. Well done. Let's have a quick look at the game review. I just need to see how badly my arse was bruised. What do you think? -5 at some point? Yeah, -5. -7. -7 here. Okay. I didn't make any blunders. You having a laugh? 3 mistakes in a row. What's the really good move? Yeah, well, yeah, there was only one good move and you found it. Yeah, obviously. But that, yeah, knight c4 you see is a blunder. He made 3 blunders in the game. Let's have a quick whiz through them. That's already inaccurate. Already inaccurate. Yeah, machine says d5. Oh well. Anyway, I do this. That, yeah, you can see, don't move a developed pawn second time. I think knight c3, our survey said d4. Okay, because the thing is, yeah, the pawn isn't even attacked. So d4 is what I said in the game he should have played. Then if I do this, then he's got this, you know. It's okay. That's a mistake. Okay. And if he takes on passant, I recapture with a C. And yeah. Not that sharp today. Not that sharp, guys. Other mistakes. That's a mistake. Again, I should have pushed d5. Don't think I even considered that move. And then this was a giant cock-up. Yeah, so good. I mean, fantastic he spotted that. I did this, and that was apparently crap, and I should have gone. Counter-attack. Oh, I never even thought of it. My opponent thought of a counter-attack. Yeah, it was shit, but he thought of a counter-attack. And I'm like, didn't think about the counter-attack. Takes, right? Bishop retreats. Look what I've done. I've created myself an escape square. Oh, well done, fishy. You good fish, clever fish. That was good stuff. Right, note to self. Every game there's a lesson. This one, bunch of lessons, but one I'm going to take away from this is I didn't even ask the question, is there a counter-attack? So that's one for me to take away. All right, guys, the sun's shining. I'm done. I'm out of here. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.